I love it here. I mean, it's my second time here, and the first time I really liked it, but now I'm proper in love.
All right.
Yeah, yeah. I'm coming back for sure next year. I know that already, so I'm already looking forward to that since this is my second last day. But it's been a blast to be out here and to meet some of the fans. And they greeted me in the airport, and yeah, it's just been fun. We come straight from Beijing, where it's like 4 degrees. So like the weather here too.
Yeah, it's a bit hot.
Except when you're inside, then it's freezing.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
I'm promoting my new single called Irony, and I guess promoting my coming project, which is coming out beginning of next year. I don't know how many songs it's going to be on it. If it's going to be an EP or an album. Points like it's going to be an EP,
right.
and then it's a couple months, and then an EP more, and then collect that to like full album. Anyway, I've been writing the past 2 years.
Oh,
So
got a lot of songs stashed up.
I think I wrote 100 songs. So it's about finding the right ones now, and I'll just continue to write. But I just can't wait for the fans to hear this new music. I'm super excited about it.
Okay. So
I play some guitar and some piano, but I mostly write, and I write songs when I'm sitting with my guitar or when I'm at the piano. I never produce though, so I've really enjoyed working with a lot of different, really talented producers so far.
yeah. Sorry.
I guess.
Since a kid.
Yeah, I was a tiny little kid when I started singing, and then when I was 12, I entered this singing competition in my high school, and I ended up winning that, and that was my first proper success story.
Okay.
With that was the first time it was not only
First
my mom.
taste of success.
Yeah, it's the first time it was not only my mom saying that's great, honey. You know, my friends were like, that was dope, man. So that was my first confidence boost. And then I started picking up the guitar around that time, you know, when I was 12 or something. And then when I was 17, I got signed,
Oh yeah, really young, huh?
really young. And then when I was 18, I released my first album, and you know, it's 8 years. So yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy to think about it, you know. Still a baby back then.
Oh
you
yeah.
know?
Yeah. But
It's so great.
yeah, but basically you're like a veteran also because you started so young.
Mhm.
And now I'm sure you've gone a lot through a lot. Yeah. Anyway, what got you started with music? I mean, there's the contest, of course, but what got you started?
It's a good question, man. I
A
don't
song, maybe?
I don't know, to be honest. Like, I did not grow up in a musical home. Like, never had a father playing the guitar or a mom playing the piano or something like that. It was always just a pure passion for me. You know, some people love music and some people don't. I guess I was one of the people that just loved music. I was always singing, always listening to music, like to the point where like at the dinner table my dad would like hit his hand hard in the table, like, Chris, shut up now. And I'd be like, yeah, sure. And then 5 minutes later, I'd be like, like singing again. It was just always in me for some reason. And my little brother, I have a brother that's 7 years older than me, and he's the same. And I don't know, my grandma says it's from her, but I don't really believe her.
Have you heard her sing?
Yeah, she's okay. She's actually okay.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, if you guys have any questions, please.
I have seen some of your videos,
Yeah.
particularly Heartbeat and Irony. At any instance, you didn't actually look at the camera. Is there like a reason for this?
No.
No, just artistic direction of the director who made the video.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure I'm looking in the camera when I'm in the Irony video
Mhm.
at some point. But to me, like in both songs are lyrically not about, you know, I don't want to tell, you know, I don't want to tell my story to the lens. I want to tell my story to the people that are listening. And sometimes it can be a bit like, oh, he's acting, you know, always in my own zone and in my own universe when I'm performing. So not looking in the camera and just, you know, singing it from my heart feels more natural when I'm not staring into a lens. So I think it's a little trick to make it feel more, you know, honest.
But it's not because you don't want to be like objectified.
No, not at all. I mean, honestly, I've never really thought too much about that.
Mm. Because you're good looking and you have like a great body, so
Yeah, like I hope you can see that even though I'm not looking into the camera. It's
Yeah.
like you don't have to look into the camera to feel, feel like you're connecting with the people watching the video. At least that's something I almost never do it actually.
the lyrics to Irony is a little controversial. You mentioned there once where about like your recording company asking you to lie in some instances. Is there like a specific recording company that we're talking about
I
here?
think for me the story behind that line, which is like I got a script, better stick to it. My label's telling me I gotta lie.
Mhm.
It's referring to when I was 18,
Mhm.
getting into this business at a really young age, and
Yeah.
the people around you. As soon as it started exploding, I was becoming this money machine for some
Mhm.
people, also in the industry. Which, it's hard when you're that green and that young
Mhm.
to know what you want. And when some people are just like, go in that direction,
Mhm.
you'll just do it. So maybe at some point I felt like I was not really being true to who I was. Felt like I was going to be. I was just doing what they told me to. And you have to grow and you have to learn from your mistakes and you have to get older. And growing up in this business is tough. You pay and it has consequences and it's your brand and it's your reputation. So you got to stand up for yourself. And I had to learn that the hard way.
Mhm.
So that's why I feel like I have to write a song like Irony now that I'm old enough to stand up for myself and I know who I want to be and what type of music I want to do and how I want my brand to be perceived. So I just wanted to be personal and honest, and I feel like I got a story to tell. So that's what I'm trying to do. And I know like Irony is especially about social media.
Mhm.
That has been such a big part of my career.
Yeah.
And I think for me, the real irony is the way that I've used social media in the past and how I use it now. And I think we just live in a time where people are so, like, they're so busy to tell other people how well they're doing and busy, posting pictures of themselves on Instagram looking perfect from the perfect angle.
Mhm.
And the truth is, we don't feel like that when we scroll through the Instagram feed. We're jealous and we filled up with these other, emotions, And it's, we live in times where there's never been more young people telling the world how tough they are and how much they got to figure out. But the truth is, there's never been more depressed people, young people with suicidal thoughts and, people that are really feeling this pressure coming from the social media. And I, of all people, have been a part of creating that because it looks perfect, So I think it's important to have an open dialogue about this and to tell people do not compare yourself to what you see on Instagram because then you'll end up unhappy. It's fake. There's a filter and everything, and there's not a lot of people talking about that. So yeah.
You've been around Asia pretty much recently. What countries have you been in, and how were you actually like accepted?
I think so far, like over the last 12 months, I've visited both Manila, Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, Taiwan, Shanghai, Singapore, like tons of other Chinese cities, Korea, Seoul. And everywhere I go, I feel like there is a huge support. I still really can't wrap my head around, like it's crazy arriving in all these different airports and there's fans there like welcoming you. And it's feels like the Asian fans are really loyal and really dedicated in another way than the Western fans are. I don't know. I just feel like I'm really connecting with the fans in these markets. There's been like a huge wave of hip hop and urban music in Europe and in the States. And out here, you still love pop music, and that's why I think it's such a perfect match for me in the music I do right now. Because no matter like what the industry is like, and music is all in waves and in periods. And right now there is an urban wave, but that doesn't mean I'm gonna make urban music. I'll stick to my thing, and you have to be true to who you are and write the stuff you think is dope. And right now it feels like there's a lot of Asian people clicking with that, connecting with that. So I'm just super happy, to be honest, to be out here and feeling the love from the fans.
Is that the genre that you're like concentrating on?
Yeah, I'm a pop act. I'm a pop act. I will always be, I guess. I love, grabbing inspiration from different genres
Mm.
and switching it up, but for some reason, every time I open my mouth, it's like pop melodies comes out. I just can't help it.
Has anybody told you that you're like the European Justin Timberlake or something like that?
I'll take that as a compliment.
It is.
He was a big inspiration for me growing up. I listened to a lot of his albums. Justified, his first solo album, still to this day one of my favorite albums. So,
Mhm.
I love that guy.
How would you describe the pop music you
I would say at the moment it's really superficial, meaning that every song sounds like the same, because it's changed so much from radio to streaming. The market and the way people listen to music today is so different. So you need to grab people's attention within the first 10 seconds. Otherwise, your label and people around you will tell, oh, Spotify's never going to play this because it skip rates and blah, blah, blah. There's all these rules. So the way people write today has to be like, now we just had this huge, wave with music and songs with like a drop, where it's like, da, 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 or whatever, So that seems like it's going a little bit away now. I'm hoping that the real good song with the good lyrics and the good chorus, will come back, and it will for sure at some point. But it's all phases, man, and there's just been a huge phase with, songs that sound alike.
When I check it out, it's actually Danish. I realize
No.
I don't really have much of an idea about your
Denmark.
country's music.
Yeah. I guess
Like
it's.
that.
I guess that my music sounds a little bit more international than original Danish music, and I have like all my favorite artists are from America. It's like Bruno Mars, Justin Timberlake, all these guys, So, and you're just like, as an artist, I guess you end up being like a mix of all your favorite artists. I love Michael Jackson, I love John Mayer, I love Bruno Mars, I love Ed Sheeran, and even though it's like 4 different genres on its own, like the way you create yourself is like taking all these influences and elements and make it into your own unique thing. So, yeah, I feel like there's a bit of Michael Jackson, there's a bit of John Mayer, and there's a bit of whatever in there.
I understand you started realized that you have to write more.
Actually, I only ever did one cover, and that was after I got signed, and my label told me to like do a cover just to create some attention, and so I did that. I did this one song by Robin called "Call Your Girlfriend," and then it exploded, and then I felt like, okay, here we go.
Have you always written your own material?
Yeah, I always knew that I was going to do my own thing and write. I think all artists will suffer from like lack of confidence and insecurities at some point in their career, and for me that was a big part of the start. Like I was, insecure about if I was good enough as a writer, and then realized at some point you don't have to be a world champion in writing songs when you're 18. I mean, it's a process and you develop, and I see that now as being 26, that it's just naturally that you grow and you mature and you just get better by practicing as a songwriter, as a singer, as a performer. You get more and more comfortable in your own skin, and you get more and more confidence. So I feel like I'm in a good place now, but it took a while to get there.
And reading a little bit about you, you actually discovered that you were part of the song Kidnap Me. And that was actually very popular here.
Yeah, I
in the
know.
Philippines. It actually spawned television contest.
Yeah.
Search Dub Smash videos. How do you feel about it?
I love being a part of that song. Brandon, who's the artist on the song, is one of my best friends, and he created my second and my third album together with me. So we've always been working together and always been featuring on each other's songs. Like one of my biggest songs is called Copenhagen Girls, and he was featured on that. So when we were in the studio one night and he played me that the drop from Twerk Like Miley, and we started creating that, and I started rapping a little bit. Never did that before. I had no idea where that came from. But it's always a joke when I'm with him. We're always just having fun, and we came up with this funny concept of like twerking like Miley, because Miley Cyrus was popping at the time, and she was twerking like a black girl, and she had no ass, and it was just funny, And we were talking about that. We turned it into a song, and I remember the day it went #1 in the Philippines. He called me, and he was like, "Chris, this means Ferraris for both of us, you know. He was so excited.
Rich.
Yeah, we're rich, we made it, you know. And yeah, I have a lot of good memories and stories with that guy.
What was your reaction when people started creating memes out of
It was crazy. It was crazy big in Denmark as well.
Oh.
And it was just crazy to see how that got out of hand so fast. And sometimes you just get that one song that will just change your life. And it basically was like that for Brandon with that song. I mean, I was just a small part of it, but I guess it changed my life too, because it opened a lot of doors. And you know, I never really had it's very clubbish and very urban compared to what I'm used to doing. And it was nice to get like a little sneak peek into that market and be like, oh shit, I can do this as well. You know, I was rapping on the goddamn thing, so it was just fun, and it just made me feel like, okay, anything is possible from this point on if it feels real. And the only reason why it felt real was because me and Brandon's natural, you know, friendship and bond, and you can see that we're just having fun in the video.
Are you actually doing a concert here in the Philippines, or are there any plans?
Yeah, I'm planning to come back and touring next year, in the beginning of next year, hopefully after the album or EP or whatever it's gonna be is released. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Just as I said before, it feels like there's proper connection between me and this market and Filipino fans. So I hope to come back as much as possible and grow, like I know some of my colleagues have done.
When was your first time? You said it's your second time.
It was 2 years ago, 1.5 years ago.
Did you do show then or just promotion?
That was promotion as well from my song Heartbeat.
Did you meet any Filipino artists during your stay in the Philippines before
No,
or today?
I actually never met any Filipino artists.
Where have you heard about?
I heard a
have you
little bit
about-
about a duo called Ben and Ben.
Oh,
I never heard their music, but we were talking about like some of the bigger or domestic artists here, and yeah, M here he told me that it was Ben and Ben. You know.
they're a hit. Do you plan on meeting some of our artists and collaborating with them in the future?
I would love to collaborate. I would love to do duets. I feel like that's a great way to both connect with the fans here, but also you know, it'd be great for me to get to know and get an insight in the Filipino, like the domestic market, because every market is obviously super different. But it feels like you are really international in your taste in music and really open to especially American music. Like when you see the Filipino charts on Spotify and the playlists, it's filled with American music, you know. So yeah, I think you're just really open in general. It's another reason why hopefully it will work out for me here.
What was your favorite thing doing here in the Philippines?
I love the food.
Have you visited some of our tourist spots?
I've actually been so busy working that I've not really had the time to see anything. I would love to go out and be able to see some more of the city, but I've basically tried every food here now, because every time I do an interview, it's like, oh, we have these traditional Christmas desserts, try this, try this, try this. So I've tried so many different things and foods, and I love everything I've tasted so far.
Okay, just going back to your music, from the time that you first time you released your album and up till now, how much of it has changed?
I think a lot of it has changed. I think being an artist, you're constantly searching for like developing your style in music and who you are as a person, and you strive to get better and you strive for greatness, of course. And I think I've just naturally matured as a songwriter and as a person. And I think that's the biggest change, that you all of a sudden you realize, oh, I don't have to do these things. I can just do this, or you know, I don't have to do as anybody tells me to do. Like I'm my own boss, you know, and I should follow my gut feeling. I think what I've been struggling with the most is like when I write songs, I play them to my mom, play them to my dad, my little brother, my friends, you know, my manager, the label, and everybody has different opinions. And you get so confused at some point that you're just like, okay, I'm just gonna let everybody out and just follow my own gut, you know? That's what you have to do, but that took me a while to figure out, and that has really changed.
So now you're more into that mindset that okay, I'm just gonna do what I feel like doing.
That's what I tell myself, and then I find myself playing into everybody I know. Anyway, you just can't help it.
All right. Well, just what would you recommend to a young artist who's trying to break into music?
practice,
Practice, yeah. Alright.
write as many songs as you possibly can.
Would you recommend the YouTube, maybe? Do YouTube?
Yeah.
Social media?
You can totally start by doing covers on YouTube. That's one way to do it. I think the most important thing is if you want to make it as an artist today, there's so many great singers out there. The difference is, can you write? Can you write songs? Practice, practice, practice. Because of course you can write songs. Everybody can write songs. It's not hard to write a good song. It's hard to write a great song. You have to work really hard to get to that point. Some people are lucky. Some people are just really talented and really good. But one thing that all the biggest superstars have in common is they have put in the work. They have worked so hard to get that good, So, I mean, that should be enough proof. And then, if you can, you should be nice to the people you meet on the way.
How much do you write? I mean, how often do you try to write a song?
I wrote last night.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
great.
I mean, I've been writing maybe 4 or 5 songs in this year.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Amazing.
I just remembered another very popular Danish actor.
Michael Instrument.
Actually performed here.
I'm not an actor, I'm not a star. Yeah.
Do you grow up so listening to
No, they were not that big in Denmark, man.
Oh, yeah.
It's
yeah.
crazy.
Really happened here in Asia, man.
It happened in Asia. Really, like they were huge out here, right? And they were not big at all at home.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, people know that song, but no, it's an Asian thing.
Oh, yeah. Well, okay, John mentioned earlier that you're quite a good-looking guy. Have
Thank
you ever considered maybe trying, besides music, maybe acting on TV or getting into movies? Because here in the Philippines, you're a singer and you're also an actor and you're also a TV personality.
Yeah,
Do it.
yeah.
Good.
I'd love that, to be honest. I'd love to do that. I've always been acting, always. I'm really into it actually, but it's not really common to do that in Denmark, and that has been like my home market for such a long time now. And music is my main passion right now, and I've just been focusing on that, focusing on getting better at writing songs and then singing, performing. It's, I've been really surprised how much time I spent, being an artist is like divided into 2 parts. There's this really performing, writing songs, side of being an artist, and then there is the business side of it. Where it's like you do promo, you go out there in the world, you travel, you be like, hi, my name is Christopher, I'm from Denmark, like, what's up, That's a huge part, like merchandise, having meetings, brand partnerships, hooking up with, like, I feel like even if I would, I could not, put another thing in my life, such as acting, because I'm a perfectionist as well. So when I go into something, I want to go all in, you know what I mean? So I think there will be a time where it'll be amazing to try. But right now, I'm so into music and I'm so into doing this.
What if maybe during one of your promo tours here in the Philippines, somebody comes up to you and say, "Hey, you're really nice. I think you would do well in this movie." Would you even consider maybe just acting here?
I'll be like, tell me where to sign. I'm doing it.
Right. Cool,
Yeah,
cool.
totally. I'll be totally up for it. I'm so up for a challenge. And if it's an offer you can resist, it's an offer you can resist, And like I said, it's all about, timing.
Mhm.
So if it was an opportunity and it was worth putting something else to the side, I would totally do it. But sometimes it's possible, sometimes it's not possible. I had a few offers to do like some Danish movies, and I really wanted to do one of them, but the timing was super bad. I had to go to the Philippines.
Yeah. Wow.